Welcome to the Super Gamer Podcast. Welcome to the new Super Gamer Podcast, episode 194. Our guest this week is a musician, a singer, a songwriter, is the theme composer for Nostalgia Critic and has worked on Watch Dogs Legion and Beyond Good and Evil 2, was a vocalist for Netflix's animated show Super Giant Robot Brothers, and also was broadcast on Swiss TV doing Tale of Fantasy's Odyssey concert. We have Jayhan. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. That's quite an amazing introduction, I gotta say. Thank you so much for that.
I mean, that's you.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Mark.
Yeah, you got into, I guess, music, or at least the style of music that you tend to do because of the opening themes and the ending themes from, like, TV shows and games and stuff as a kid, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been, I grew up with, cartoons and TV shows like Transformers, SWAT Cats, even like Teen Titans, which came a little bit later. But the thing that always got me into those TV shows were, of course, the opening themes. You know, like you get that right, you get people hyped up, and that kind of really stuck with me and has been a way for me to, kind of like inspire myself to write music, basically. So
yeah, some of what you do covers, but then you also write original songs that are sort of based on these things, almost like in the style of. So you kind of brought up there, theme songs are meant to hype you up for the show. So how does one go about writing a theme song? Like, is there a special formula? Like, okay, we need to hit these beats, or it's not a theme song.
I think it will always depend on the show you're writing about. Every show has a specific music style, I guess. So if you manage to write something close to the music genre, and then, I don't know, try to throw in some Easter eggs when it comes to lyrics related to the show, then I think you kind of sort of like have a foundation of the song that you want to write, basically. So yeah, I think it's a lot of, not gonna lie, like whenever I watch a TV show, something that I really, really love a lot, I usually, once I'm done, I spend probably the next 2 or 3 days just writing that theme song, basically. And that's kind of what happened for when I watched a TV show from Guillermo del Toro called Troll Hunters. And really enjoyed the show so much that I kind of wrote a tribute song to the show, but also in memory of the voice actor, the lead voice actor of the show, who was Anton Yelchin. So, and he passed away like really, really young at the age of 28, like back in 2016 or something like that. And if you always have like a show that you enjoy a lot, and that, you kind of learn later on that one of the people who worked on it is not anymore around. It kind of like, I don't know, you enjoy the show, you want to do something for that person or the person who is no longer here, and that just basically comes out, basically. So yeah, it really depends on a lot of things.
Is that how you got Guillermo del Toro following you on Twitter?
Yeah, you noticed.
I did.
So, that was one of the reasons, actually. I think this is kind of old news now, so I can probably say this, but actually by writing this tribute song to Anton Yelchin, and I think Guillermo was very attached to the people who work on this show. He did see my song, and he really enjoyed it, from what I could gather. So much so that he, at some point, proposed he actually messaged me and asked me if I wanted to work with him on a project, basically. So that was a while ago, and unfortunately, it didn't follow through. But let's just say that this kind of instance, this moment, really kind of like boosted my motivation to take my my music skills more seriously, actually, to really push for to improve my skills and to get myself out there as much as possible. I mean, in fact, I think from this little interaction with Guillermo, it really pushed me to be very passionate and work very hard on my music projects. And that kind of motivation landed me like gigs with Ubisoft, especially Beyond Good and Evil 2. So, yeah, it's been a long time since I had this kind of like interaction with Guillermo, but yeah, it really inspired me a lot. So that's why I keep working hard and pushing myself.
Well, along those lines, how did it feel when you got your first video game credit, which was Watch Dogs Legion?
And it was amazing. Honestly, seeing my name pop up on the credit scene was really mind blowing, I think. Because I sang lead vocals on a Watch Dogs Legion song, and I contributed some backing vocals to other music tracks that were produced for the game. And just seeing my name pop up, it was wild. I was very proud at that moment. Yeah, like work hard and just stay super passionate about what you do, and I think it does get you far. Just keep working hard and being passionate.
I first saw you, my introduction to you was for VGM Together's Paper Mario Origami King tribute, the line them up thing. And it's funny, like you fully did stand out to me. You I think it's the Shogun something, and it's like a close-up
Yes.
of you, and you do this like really epic singing part. And I remember watching it live and being like, whoa, I don't know who that is, but that was awesome.
Thank you. That project was so amazing. So many people worked on it. I was really blown away by the talent involved, and I think just being part of that it's just amazing. I mean, VGM community. I mean, what a bunch of talented and passionate people. I love it. Really. So, really, kudos to the people who made this happen. It's really amazing.
So you and I have something in common. We are both big Transformers fans.
Oh, I knew it. Somehow I knew it. Okay, so what are you more like? Are you more Autobot, Decepticon, or who's your favorite?
Well, see, that's what I'm going to ask you, is who your favorite Transformer is. I'm definitely, I grew up with, like, the old show. I love the animated movie to death. And it doesn't hurt that I'm a huge Weird Al fan and he has a song in it.
Of course.
But I think my favorite one, and I know you've done, you had to use like effects to it, but I'm going to ask you anyway. My favorite is Soundwave. Can you do Soundwave's voice for us?
Oh my God. With oh my gosh, I remember there was at some point I tried to imitate that. Oh my gosh, no, I don't think I can. Oh my gosh, you're putting me on the spot right
Yeah,
here.
you don't have to do it.
I mean, because I do remember I tried to record because when I think you would know that, but Soundwave's voice actor is Frank Welker,
Mm-hmm.
and when he does his Soundwave voice, he does this sort of very deep, gravelly sort of voice, like how did it go again? Something like really just kind of deep and gravelly. And then they layer it with the sound people. They layer it with some sound effects, and it just like I don't think I'm able to do it. Soundwave. That's just
Yeah, I mean it's very computerized.
It's very computerized, but
So who's your favorite Transformer?
Oh, so my favorite definitely has to be Optimus Prime. I think he was the well, basically he's the Autobot that stood out to me the most. Kind of like a father figure sort of character, and I love my dad, and I love having father figures being portrayed in cartoons, basically. So in Optimus Prime, especially like Peter Cullen, or even his name escapes me. What's his name again? I'm drawing a blank, but there was another voice actor. I usually know that name, but anyway, he really amazing cartoon character. I really love those two characters, and I think if I had to pick a second favorite, it would probably be Prowl. So the cop car, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably Blaster, because music.
Well, if you're such an Optimus Prime fan, how did you feel? Spoiler alert for a movie that's what, like 35 years old or more. How did you feel when you saw the animated movie and he dies so early?
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't like. I'm glad I didn't see that as a kid because I do think I would have been traumatized. I think I saw that in my late teens, and I remember how probably a mix between shocked and stunned, seeing that Optimus just like it's not just Optimus, it's like all the G1 characters, the original Transformer characters are dead in the first 30 minutes or something, like completely massacred. And of course, Optimus's prime death was really tragic, really tragic. But I felt like the way they, portrayed his death in the movie was, I think, well done. In the sense that people were very attached to that character and they managed to basically just like tear their hearts out, basically.
It was the original Aerith death.
Exactly, right? That's exactly it. Nobody saw that coming. I mean, that's like one of the lead characters of the original show. How could you do that, actually? I mean, but from a marketing point of view, Hasbro wanting to market their new toys. I mean, it was it was very brutal, but it was kind of a smart move because it was their way of like introducing new toys and promoting them. And yeah.
I have to bring up, I don't know if you'll remember this, but if you do, maybe you can tell us more about it. But you are such a Transformers fan that you once had a dream that you were like captured by Megatron and he was sucking your life force out through some sort of like computer system.
Oh my gosh, how do you know that? You've really done Oh my gosh, yes, I remember that. I think I had very vivid dreams like years and years ago. I think it's now calmed down a bit, but yeah, that was this has all the material for creating fan fiction, basically. And I was a huge fan fiction writer at the time. But yeah. Wow, how do you even know this? You've really done your research.
Well, speaking of fan fiction, can you tell us about The True Power of Music, your Sonic the Hedgehog fan fiction?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Okay, so oh man, this was years ago. This is like practically a decade ago. But I was a huge fan fiction writer. I wrote a Sonic the Hedgehog fan fiction about how do I even explain this? It's basically a character who I don't even remember her name, I guess. The lead character is a girl who is super passionate about music, and at some point gets to meet Sonic and gets entangled in this sort of it gets entangled with Eggman at some point, and that was a thing. Gosh, that was a thing. But not gonna lie, I feel like when I think about it, fan fiction is for me. I think I really loved writing fan fiction at the time, and I think if I had if I had time, I would probably still write some more fan fiction. But if I do say so myself, I think that fan fiction allowed me to kind of take that next step and write fan songs, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's certainly adjacent to being inspired by a show and then writing about it, like a music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, my gosh, I can't even believe that you managed to find my stash of fan fiction. No, but it's kind of endearing because, like, I think like if I look at it, like if I read my fan fiction, I think like, yes, I will cringe, but at the same time, I'll be like, it's kind of like a window into your past, like, and you kind of see like, oh, so I used to write like that, and oh, I was definitely thinking this at the time, and it's now I really want to look. I want to read my fan fictions again.
Do you still have them?
Oh yeah, I definitely. I think I still have on my computer, and I still know that they're online. And I think I know for a fact that the True Power of Music fan fiction still has a lot and a lot of chapters that I have not released yet, basically. So this is really interesting. I really have to go look through my stuff.
So you have teased that 2024 will be very busy and that there is a
Ooh.
reason that you've been less active with your music production. Can you give us any hints as to why?
Huh. It is a bit of an NDA, but I do think I can tease some things. So, how do I put this? I've been working with a lot of, well, I think like with a group of people here in Switzerland, and we're preparing something big for this year. And it's well, I think let's just say it's going to be a celebration. It's going to be a celebration, and we're really excited about it. We can't say much yet, but I think there will be an announcement coming probably in the next month or so. And this is like the result of around a year and a half of work, hard work, I'd say, close to 2 years even. And yeah, I think there's going to be reason for people to be very excited, basically. So I'm personally really, really excited about it. But I can't say much. It is a
Fair
kind
enough.
of like I can say it's kind of a music project, so I'll just leave it at that. So,
All right.
but yeah.
Well, maybe can you elaborate on, you've also said it's a goal for this year. You want to contribute to the ecosystem and culture of video game music.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the reason why I say that is because I think especially like I've been to MacFest, and I've seen the video game music community, and it is amazing. I was not aware how huge the video game music community is in the States. I wasn't aware of how, not only passionate, but how people have got your backs, basically. I will always come back to Ro Panoganti. He's like such a Ro Panoganti and Mason Lieberman, who are both champs in the video game music community, who are in a sense where they always look out for other people and help out when need be, and provide, like, they give good advice, and just really out of the kindness of their heart. It's this sort of be kind to others, pay forward because other people have been kind to me, like this sort of like amazing attitude. And sometimes when I think about like music industry, it can be very vicious, but in a video game music community, I don't feel it as much, I guess. Maybe I haven't seen the ugly side yet, but I guess I've yet to discover that, if that's the case. But honestly, it's been amazing. And this is something that I want to develop here in Europe. I think that's why I've been a little bit asking around, like, okay, so what kind of video game projects, video game concerts are there here in Europe? And, here in Switzerland, Switzerland is a small country, and it's not, yeah, there's a lot of work to be done here. And my hope is that somehow I can help out in the sense of, putting video game music more forward in Switzerland, and then hopefully kind of like bringing together, or at least meeting up with some amazing video game musicians, performers, and composers here in Europe. So I think that's why I'm really excited to go to Game Music Festival this May in London, where they have the Last of Us concert there. So, and they have a Baldur's Gate 3 concert as well.
Ooh.
But I kind of missed the opportunity to grab tickets. They sold out within 48 hours or something like that for Baldur's Gate 3 concert. It was pretty amazing. So
cool.
Yeah.
How was your trip to MagFest? Was that the first you've been to?
Yeah, it was my first one. I told Ro Panaganti that I was most likely going to MagFest, and as a result of that, he asked me if I was interested to perform on the main stage with him and his band. So, yeah, it was my first time being at MagFest, but it was also my first time performing at MagFest and on the main stage, and that was pretty amazing. That was a lot of fun. I plan on coming back next year, and I'm bringing my few Swiss friends with me for sure.
Cool. Yeah, I've never been, but I was checking out some of the the videos and pictures from this year, and I thought like, wow, it's pretty packed. People really turn out for that.
It is very packed, but what I find really great is that the space is huge. So you have a lot of people there, but because the space is so huge, it's, like there's, you don't feel like crammed up in a space. So I think if you have the chance to go there, definitely go there. I do know that I managed to snag a picture during a performance at the Belvedere at MagFest. You had Epic Gamer, I think, performing with his band. And I I was taking pictures, and then I looked down and I see the Angry Video Game Nerd filming the performance. Him just lying down and, kind of like a film crew guy. Like that's, you kind of position yourself in a very specific way to get the best shots. And it was just really funny seeing him there. Yeah. And other than that, I know Cat Icarus was there as well. And sadly, I didn't get the chance to see him either. But even the vocalist of Snake Eater was there, Cynthia Harrell. That really blew my mind. And hearing her perform live, gosh, that was amazing. That was really amazing. But yeah, I definitely recommend you should go to MagFest if you have the chance.
I will definitely try. It's relatively far from me, but that doesn't mean much when you are considerably farther than I am.
Yes. Actually, I managed to, when I traveled to MagFest, my first flight got canceled, actually. So I arrived a day late. However, fortunately, I'll be getting some compensation for that. And that basically covers my whole trip to MagFest, including accommodation and food, basically.
That's not bad.
So technically, I went to MagFest for free, so that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Can you tell us about in 2012 you met Ernie Hudson, but you wrote him a letter. What can you tell us what was in the letter?
Oh my gosh! How do you know this stuff? You're pretty good at this. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Let me think. So let me think. Because I remember writing him a letter because for me it was so unusual to have one of those actors here in Switzerland. I mean, I was really young at how old was I? I was okay. I wasn't okay. I was around 20 or something like that. Okay, so it's not that young, but anyway. So I remember I watched a lot of movies in which he was in, and he did also a lot of voice acting roles. And when it comes to voice acting, for me, it's the voice that really stands out to me. Like if you're an actor and you have a very particular voice, then that really stands out to me, And so I remember I wrote him this long letter saying I really I love what he did. he was like, I loved him as a Ghostbuster, like absolutely loved him. And I was very grateful that he was here in Switzerland. I think I also said that there were some roles that he played that really inspired me as well. And man, I can't really remember the contents of the letter, but I think a lot what I wrote came from the heart, and that I was just really incredibly grateful that he came all this way to Switzerland, like a really kind of like a random small tiny country, and that he met fans like us, basically. Yeah, so I gave him that letter. I gave him a box with Swiss cookies and cough drops, like Swiss cough drops called Ricola.
Oh
basically.
yeah, we have them here.
Okay, yeah, so you know what it is. So I gave him that, and and then I think I left. And then at some point, my friends came to me and said, "Oh, you know what? Ernie Hudson like read your letter and he started crying." And I was like, "Oh shit! I made a Ghostbuster cry." So I guess I wanted to go back to him and make sure that I didn't mess up or anything like that. Like I was like super nervous at the time because like it's not every like I didn't want to make anybody cry. So I went up to him and he saw me and he said, "Come here." And then he went around the table. I went around the table and he gave me like one of the biggest, warmest hugs and all that. And I was just like, what is going on here? I'm just like,
that's such a nice story. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. He has got like the brightest smile. Like, he's got such a warm personality as well. So when you have the chance to meet Ernie Hudson, I think he's a great guy. He's great to talk to.
So obviously, for the purposes of this show, we focus on the geekier part of things, but your performances aren't exclusive to the geek world. For example, you performed in 2018 in Geneva at the launch of the Interreligious Association for Peace and Development. Do you ever sneak in some nerdy songs for that kind of event?
Well, I wonder because maybe for those who don't really know, so Geneva has the United Nations, and therefore you have a lot of NGOs who work there, anything related to human rights and stuff like that. So I have friends and my parents friends, and they all kind of like work at the UN. So whenever they organize like a conference, sometimes they invite me to perform because, it's good to have a vocalist who knows how to sing, I guess. But I do remember, maybe not for this one, but well, did I for this one? I'm trying to remember because I have performed a lot of little kind of little conferences like that. But I managed to sneak in, of course, Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas. But I have also managed to sneak in 1,000 Words from Final Fantasy X2.
Oh,
so
that's a good one.
And so it's a beautiful song. Like I love that song. But I try to sneak in. But the most important thing is you have to make sure that the lyrics are in line with what like anything related to peace. I do remember at some point I think I may have performed Heaven's Divide from Metal Gear Solid. So and when you think about like Heaven's Divide, which was heard in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, and that's kind of like a combat sort of video game, and you sing that at a peace conference. I don't know, it's kind of like mixed messages or something like that. So.
Are they like looking at you like I have no idea what's going on?
They're like those. I mean, the words are beautiful. It's always just the context that for me is kind of like funny. Yeah, but clearly you've done your research. I'm really impressed. Color me very impressed.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You do panel discussions, and in 2019, I got this from the Webster Geneva campus's Creativity and Co-Creation in the Arts website. In 2019, you did a panel for the Webster Center for Creativity and Innovation and the Media Communications Department on performing for the song "Do What You Love." And
yes,
when it comes to collaborating, because this is something you talked about in that panel discussion, when it comes to collaborating, can you tell us about the power of saying yes and trying to avoid critiquing too much early in the process?
So I'm trying to understand what you mean by the power of yes. You mean like
I don't know. I just read this off the site. I think it was maybe it didn't get discussed, but the site suggested that it was a topic brought up. The power of saying yes when you're collaborating with someone on a music piece.
Okay, so I'm really trying to remember.
Well, if it's not something that came up, then don't worry about it.
No, I think the most important takeaway from this kind of project, because so I'll give a little bit context again. Do What You Love is a huge collaboration music project in which a bunch of musicians and singers and music producers got to work together with the American rapper Logic to basically create a song about, like your passion and doing what you love, basically. And this track was kind of like part of this big music documentary that was handled by Hit Record and one of the founders, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is this famous Hollywood actor. In this kind of project, there's always like a bunch of people who contribute, and sometimes there's like a bit of a selection process in terms of like when you produce a song and you have a bunch of contributions, then you have to kind of like piece everything together like a puzzle to see what work to kind of like have a track that works really, really well. And so for me at the time, I was heavily involved in, Beyond Good and Evil 2 music production, because that was kind of like handled by the production platform Hit Record. So I kind of like grew used to collaborating with musicians on that website to create a music track for Ubisoft. So, and here the idea is kind of the same, where you see what's been done, you listen to what others have, written or sung or played, and then you try to see like, okay, so how do I match this? Like, how can my own contribution enhance the track, basically? So, and at the time, I decided I wanted to not only record my vocals, but film myself recording that performance, basically, which is what I did. And turns out I ended up being, selected for this project. My vocals were featured in that. And it's a lot of knowing what others do and knowing how you can work together with others. Like, collaboration is a lot of fun. It's sometimes tedious work because you have to really be careful. Like, you have to write something that just matches everything, that doesn't take away but more like adds and enhances in that sense. So, I guess like when they say the power of yes to collaboration, I think it's always when you're working as a musician or a music artist, oftentimes you will work on your own, especially these days, like where you can do everything practically on your own. But there's always a beauty in collaborating with others. Like the more the merrier, but of course it's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time as well. So as a result of my contribution, I got flown out to Los Angeles to not only kind of like meet Logic and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but also the people from Hit Record, as well as the other musicians that have contributed to this track. And it's just amazing to meet the people in person, you know, meeting musicians and singers in person, seeing like how they contributed to the track, and you know, finally just like putting a face to that vocal or to that riff and all that. So yeah, it was quite an amazing experience, and I do have to say that it's pushed me also to meet my collaborators, whoever I collaborate with. I love the idea of meeting them in person, especially if we make really amazing music tracks, basically.
Hey, Super Gamers, just a clarification here. So the website I referenced where I got this info from is a news article on the Webster Geneva campus website. It doesn't appear to credit any specific writer, but it does say in the article, the panel stressed these keys to success when creating with others. That's word for word. And the panel included not just Jayhan, but Michael Payne, Daniel Go, and Tracy Miller. So it's possible that Jayhan wasn't actually the one talking about the things that I said there. She gave a great answer anyway. I know you've mentioned a few names already, but we're winding down here. Favorite collaborations or collaborators you've had?
Ooh, okay. So, favorite collaborations. Definitely the Paper Mario was a really fun collaboration. Honestly, I had a lot of fun with that. But other than that, I really it's hard to say because every collaboration is very different and unique, and I always have great experience from every collaboration that I've worked on. So let's see. I think like in more recent days, I love collaborating with Ben Zimmerman, also known as Jiggy Tones. He and I, we collaborate a lot, and we actually perform together a lot. We actually performed at Gamescom last year, which was really amazing. We got to do some really cool video game music together. I used to collaborate a lot with Kyle Brook. He is also an amazing video game musician. And other than that, well, I love working with Game Grooves. They always have like amazing projects going on, like, you know, with Ro Panaganti. I always name drop him because he's such a champ. So, but yeah. Yeah, those are my favorite collaborations so far. Of course, Beyond Good and Evil 2 and Watch Dogs Legion were amazing projects, and there were a lot of people involved. But that was like some time ago, and so I'm always looking forward to the next kind of collaboration that I can do, basically.
Cool. Any what's your current? Do you have a current obsession as far as theme songs, video game songs, anything?
Let me think. Okay, so all right, so okay, so I think there are all right, three songs that I currently obsess with. The first one is Live and Learn, just because it's my jam. I love that song, Live and Learn from Sonic Adventure 2. I love singing that song. It's what allows me to belt as much as I can and really just get into it. And Johnny Joeli is just such an amazing vocalist, so always appreciate what he does. And stage presence, my God, like he's amazing. Second song would be Devil Trigger, because I'm currently practicing that for an upcoming collaboration cover with Jiggy Tones. And then the third one is it's called Sad Sub-Story Song from Yakuza. It's I'm currently working on a cover of that, and I've been practicing with the harmonica, a new instrument that I just bought recently, actually. So yeah, these are the three songs that I'm currently obsessing with
All
for
right.
different reasons.
So on YouTube, people can find you at Jayhan Official. Anywhere else people
Yes.
should check you out?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook as well. I also have a Patreon page, which I had to kind of like, because I was so busy this last year and a half that I couldn't really get back into that. But I've slowly started getting back into Patreon. So yeah, you can find me Jayhan. I think it's also Jayhan official, but I'll have to double check. Let me just see. Patreon. Yes, also Jayhan official, basically on Patreon. So whatever money I get from that, I use it. I invest in either collaborations or instruments or video production, basically. So yeah.
Jayhan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much for having me.